Perfect. We're live. All right. Welcome everyone to this 9x live session on fixing the biggest problem with vibe coding. I'm really excited about this session. We've got a very special guest joining us, which I'll introduce in a second. But here's what we have in store. So I'll give a quick introduction about us. Then we'll get into, it's all going to be a big live build. We'll have some room for discussion and Q&A at the end. We do say that we'll have time at the end, but please use the chat throughout the session, and I'll be raising the questions as they come up. We want to make this as interactive as possible over the 90 minutes. I think it's the best way that we can all learn as much as possible. So for starting with a quick introduction, for those of you who do not know us yet, we are 9x. You can find us at go9x.com. We are building your one-stop shop to learn AI and automation. And the reason we're doing this is we believe that AI and automation are the most important skills that you can learn right now as a business professional. And it's our mission to bring you these skills on a silver platter. And we do this in a few different ways, starting with our YouTube channel. And we'll be dropping a link in the chat right now. So we publish free AI and automation tutorials, demos, news on the latest of AI and automation. We publish videos each and every week. It's completely free. The classic YouTube slogan, please subscribe. And you should have a link there in the chat. On top of our YouTube channel, we also run live workshops like the one that you're all in. We run these every single week. And I'm very excited about next week's session on reinventing business processes with AI, where I'll be joined by Dara, the CEO and founder of NoLoco. We did a session with NoLoco earlier in the year, which was very insightful, and I'm very happy to have Dara back on. And we'll be dropping a link to next week's session in the chat as well. And then finally, the third way we're bringing you these skills on a silver platter is through our courses. So we've really designed our courses to take you all the way from beginner to advanced in the world of AI and automation. We have an AI starter program, which is going to be a free intro course that we'll be launching hopefully next month by the end of the year. This is really just to discover what's possible with AI as a business professional. Then we have our paid courses, the AI operator, where you can really learn to use AI as a co-pilot. So learning the prompting techniques and how you can use AI productively at work. And finally, our most advanced program, the AI Builder, where you can learn to automate with AI, building AI-powered automations all the way up to AI agents. Again, the links should be in the chat. And with those shameless, let's say 3 minutes of advertising out the way, we can now get into the main event. And I'm very excited to welcome Fred from Xano. Fred, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. Thank you, Jan.
Thanks so much for joining us. Do you want to already jump straight in and share your screen, and we can let everyone know what we have in store today?
Yes, for sure.
Perfect.
Okay, you can see my screen?
Yes, looks good. Yeah.
That's good. Hi, everyone. Very nice to see you there. Okay, Jan, you want me to start?
Let's go straight in.
Okay, thank you. So thank you everybody to join. I see some name that I know, so happy to be around the table with everybody. So maybe you can hear it, but I'm not native in English. I'm French, and you may be surprised, but in France we are not doing only cheese and wine and bread, but we are also doing technology, and we have a huge, amazing French no-code community. As far as I know, we are the third country in no-code and AI vibes coding user, and so I'm very happy to be there. I don't want to talk too much about me, but just to explain my background is an engineer. I started like many years ago. I was a developer in Java. I wrote some books about Java, about coding. So it's interesting because in the no-code and AI era, we meet different profile, and that's super nice. And but years after years, I was mentor for Google. I work also at Apple, and I became more closer to the product. So I see the no-code and the vibes coding in general a very well tools also for the people come from the product to build. as for the builder to go closer to the product. So that's what excited me a lot. I started like almost 10 years ago with the no code by building my own tools and also using tools like Bubble. And then very quickly I moved to other tools. Okay, that's it.
And Fred, one question, because
Yeah.
this always comes up. Like I've met a few people that have made that journey from engineer, developer to then being, let's say, accepting of no code. Were you convinced by no code straight away, or it took some time?
No, for sure, it took some time, and also it started a little bit with a bad buzz because, of course, first of all, no code, the name is started by a negative, and also many people saw that like only for building like prototype, POC or MVP stuff like that. But it's far away behind. Now we can really build serious things. For sure, it took me time to be convinced, but to be honest, I have the feeling that it's not a revolution, but it's really an evolution about programming. I mean, we started to create the object concept, and after we started to create the library concept, and after we started to build the microservices. So it's always the same, how we rebuild faster and reproduce this that. So for me it's more an evolution, and it's a natural evolution.
Perfect. All right. So what do we have? Well, maybe what are we not doing today?
Yeah, so this is a tough will be a tough hours, like a bit more than an hours. So first of all, I don't want to demonstrate like a show off wow effect demo that you can reproduce on your side. I would like to share with you how I'm actually myself vibes code and code, and I want to make it a real life. So promise I will maybe demonstrate like 10 slide maximum, and that's it. No endless slide, no marketing pitch, not like this is the best tools ever. Like I want to try to make something real life. So I will take some risk, okay, to make it work and build in life. To be honest, I have no very specific scenarios, and I will show you how you can no code and vibes code, and also in an environment that it could be serious, scalable, and mainly visual. For sure, we will have some bugs. For sure, we will have some crashes and slow moments. But this is exactly the real life of a vibes coder. So nothing magic now, and we make it efficient. That's fine.
Perfect. And Fred, we have quite a lot of like business professionals in the audience of these live sessions. So with zero engineering background whatsoever, typically what we're seeing is it's like it is still the engineers vibe coding because they like need to understand what's going on. So even for the business professionals in the audience, what will they get out of the next 90 minutes, let's say?
First of all, I will try to show off for everybody, like more like visual and vibes coding, and also because I see some developer in the audience, so everybody can see what it's nice nowadays with the tools, and especially with Xano that I will show you, that you have different way to vibes code and to no code, let's say. You can code it like if you're not absolutely not a coder or developers, you can prompt. If you have a coder, you can code with a Xano script or with any kind of language. And also, if you're not a coder, but you know the concept of coding, you can also use visual. So that's nice that nowadays everybody can build their own solutions, whatever your background. And I will try to show this. You can ask a question. You can stop me if it's too technical. So just let me know, okay?
Perfect, perfect. Let's do it.
Yeah, so I wanted to propose you a scenarios. It's just an example, okay? I was thinking it could be nice to create like a mini custom CRM, for example, for a staffing company and for the managers, because I thought it's talk to anybody, so we don't have to explain about the product. So what we will do, we will try to create a simple database, okay? And you will see we will try to populate this database to create some content. That's magic. We will create the endpoint. I will explain you what the endpoint also connect to external services, because nowadays you have so many possibilities and services online that you can connect it. Documentation is something I will probably talk few times. It's very important for you, but also for your vibes coding tools, because you feed the vibes coding tools with your documentations to make it more sharp. And we will going a little bit afterward in MCP server. We try to build an agent, an MCP server. Wow, we will try to do all of this for next 90 minutes, even less. Okay.
Perfect.
So we will use mainly Xano as a unified backend. I will come back on it. Why? We will manage the database, the logic, and also the authentication, and all of this in Xano. But I want to show you also how you can connect with Lovable, with Claude to create the content, to drive the Xano AI also, and to create all of that. I want to show you how also you can connect with external API and services. So I will use Resend. It's a very simple email server. And I want to show you also how you can import some project maybe you started to do, for example, in Supabase. That because, for example, Xano can import some logic from Supabase and also bring some visual layer to it. And also using VS Code to Vibes Code and Apify as some API. So as you see, we'll do a lot, but hopefully it's easier than it looks like. And I will show you.
And also, if there's already some acronyms that people don't understand, MCP
Yeah.
and all this, don't worry, we will cover everything as we get to it.
Yeah, don't hesitate because it's not easy to please everybody, but for sure I will do my best, and I love to share also, so don't hesitate, okay? Okay, a few more slides. I promise not too much slides, so maybe five more, and we jump in it. Um, okay, what the problems today and what we have to solve? We have a lot of AI tools that can code Bolt and Claude Code and so many actually that claim that they can code for you. For sure, it makes you a coder, but it not make you a developer or an architect. So I want to say, don't underestimate that. It's very easy to underestimate the fact that before starting to Vibes Code or to start even with the no code to build your solutions, that you have to think about it, like to architecture your project in general. Okay, it's important to understand what will be your business logic and also how you will deploy and security. And also, Jan, you say that we have a lot of corporate level people in the audience, and I want just to tell you that actually I'm working a lot with many corporate company at Xano. We have a lot of also a very serious, huge companies that use nowadays the no code and the Vibes code. So it's totally working fine. And it bring a lot in the teams and it bring a lot to the company. But whatever, there is architecture behind and there is also a logic of developers. So a coder is not a developer, it's two different things. So don't forget. There is a risk. I don't know if you never ever heard about this term like word slop, that the AI generates a lot of it looks very polished, very nice, but sometimes lacks real substance. And at the end of the day, if you don't take care, it can create more work for the teams. And there is more and more studying about it that take more time to fix or to rebuild it than if they did it by themselves like before. Okay, so that means it doesn't mean that it's not good for sure, but it means that you have to take it seriously. It's not because you just prompt something that you can use it on enterprise level. Okay, so how we can prevent workflow? We need to combine the AI assistance with human validation and review everything. And there is a lot of professionals nowadays that they are positioning in reviewing the code from AI also. You need to test, you need to document it, and sometimes refactor also. And all very important, you need to use trust framework that are compliant. For example, Xano is from far the most compliant solution on the market, and that's super important. We're talking about ISO, we're talking about SOC 2, SOC 3, and also medical servers. So that's super important. Xano or anything else, but you use trust framework, compliant, and the same for the automation tools to reinforce the quality.
Fred, just
My
just on
opinion.
that one, because you mentioned on the slide before that having this like human in the loop, human review. So how does that go for someone like me? I would consider myself like, let's say I can do some engineering in no code tools, like I'm engineering a solution, what you're calling like architecture, but I'm not a coder whatsoever. So if I see code written in front of me, I wouldn't be able to understand it. So is it something though that like if AI is generating code for our app, this human review, does it always involve reading code, or are there other ways we can
No,
let's
no, my opinion is you before publishing your app, before like going in production, you can use and you have to use someone that is a really coder developer that can have a look also for security reason. Not like every day, every call of the AI, but you need to have someone in your team if it's an enterprise level solution that can understand the code that is generated. My opinion. Okay, not everybody have to be agree with me. Okay, I give you my opinion. I think we all have our own experience, and okay, um, okay. For me, the way I'm working today, it's really with a balanced approach. I'm using like AI a lot for prototyping, and I include my teams or some team or sometimes some freelancer to review the code and to secure everything. Okay, what I can provide and what I'm doing now in my very big project, it's to have a very strong core system like the brain. Even if you have many tools, okay, let's keep a very strong and compliant one central system for your data and your business logic because it is the core of your business, okay? I know nowadays that you can store your data in N8N or in Lovable, or I mean, more of the front end today have this possibility to store some data, sometimes our API. It could work for a small project. For a serious project, I see a really a risk, and I can really provide to do that, advice to do that. And me personally, I create like this central system, and as we will do today, I'm connecting all these tools. But I know that my business logic and my data are safe in central system in the brain. Okay, so what I can recommend when you are doing, and we will show when you are doing, don't do all your application in one environment and one prompt. Okay, divide it in tasks clearly, precisely, and also it's good for you because you have to think about it. You have to analyze your needs and your logic. So you can ensure the maintainability, the security, the scalability. It's much easier, even if you vibes code. So you create a task, you work on it. When it's working, you go to another task. Okay. Very important again, the documentation that you have to share and with your team and with your tools. This is something underestimate things. Okay, very quickly, and we almost finished. Today we will use Xano as a backend. So Xano, if you don't know, it's an amazing system that you can store your database. You can create your business logic, and this is a secure server ready to scale, and you can connect so many front ends. This is just some example, and we will do it in live. But you can connect as much as you want. Front end is ready through API, through MCP, and through direct connection, whatever. Okay, so just to say that Xano is an entire backend. So the backend, one again, is for your data and it's for your logic. Okay. Okay. I don't know if there is any question because I don't see actually the
So there's
chat.
one question from Yuba. There's a few questions that I think we can save. I think will come up during the building. But one from Yuba asking regarding the brain that stores the data. If you can repeat where you recommend storing it. I guess in your case you're recommending storing it in Xano if you're building something on Xano. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It depends the project. Okay, I know some people use Airtable, some people use Superbase. It could be also a good solution depending the project. Personally, because I'm working on a serious project, I want to say, and company Xano for me is the first choice, and also because it's really visual. comparing to other solutions like Supabase, for example, that also are very good tools. But Xano is really visual and really scalable. So, and also it could work on premise. For example, I'm working for some project for the government, and for the government, they can't be hosted on AWS or Google. They have to bring their own cloud. So also this is an option. The governance is also a topic. So depending your project, you can use one or another. Actually, Xano is pretty cheap if you have a small project, not more expensive than other solutions. So for me, it's my natural my natural tools for the backend. And okay, so now we will start to build, and we will try to start to build. So because we are creating a CRM, we have to think how we want to organize the data. Okay, that's a good thing before jumping, and especially if you're not a specialist in coding or you never build any project, not to start to say to the Vibes Code tools, I want to create a CRM, but try to start to explain, okay, I want to have my user in a database. I want to have the company that I want to, my customers company in another database, and the contact in another database, the deal in another. So why we separate all of that? It's because it's really easier to maintain, and also because probably we will want to connect many tools. It's really easy when you separate and the data and the logic. Okay, so all the way along, we will start to divide pieces by pieces and make all these pieces orchestrate together to build an app. Okay, so I think the name is talked by themselves. The user will be for the login password, let's say. The company will be, okay, you understand. Company, the contact in the company. The deal will be for the sellers, and the activities to follow the pipeline of the sales. An opportunity, you will see what happened, but we will try to find some opportunities on the internet to see how we can do that. That's fine?
Yeah, and I would say add on here is if this is not a use case that speaks to you necessarily, like, hey, I'm already using a CRM, I don't need to build my own. What Fred is showing here is a methodology of building a business application, and this can be then applied to whatever use case you have. So it's not so much about spinning up a CRM in 90 minutes, as impressive as that is really think about how do we structure our data, how do we add the logic, and then how do we build this step by step.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I took a CRM because it's easy to understand, and we don't have to spend time to explain like what kind of product we want to achieve. Okay, I have to explain you a little bit about Xano because the interface is just for you to be familiar, but don't worry, we're not spending too much time on it, just for you to follow. So in Xano, we have an instance, okay, and it's very common, and on the instance, you can create as many workspace you want. A workspace, it's a project, okay? I will show you something, but I will not stay too much on it. On Xano, you can create your own app with the Xano AI, okay? So if you use the Xano AI like this, it's very easy. They will start to ask you what you want to build, okay? And you can say, I want to build a CRM for managing company, for example. Please do for me the database and the logic, the main logic. I don't know. You can be very like general. It will propose you something to organize your database, and you can make some modification. You see, you still have your database here. Okay, you can see it like a spreadsheet, and it gives you some example what it will be in the database. And you can continue. I want this. I don't want this. You click on create it. I don't want to spend too much time, but they ask you which kind of front end you want to use. You can say I want to use, for example, WeWeb. That is amazing tools also that I use most of my projects in most of my products, and it will create for you all the backend, and it's just amazing because in 2 minutes you have your database. Okay, I don't know if you're very familiar with this way to see the database, but you have also the API with all the logic to create member. You have almost all your backend ready. Okay, if you prompt it good, it's a very good starting point. Very good starting point. And this is, I can tell you, because I come from the code, it's just amazing to all of this in like in a minute. And
I can
after that, hmm?
I can attest it. Like it's funny now how because of how rapid everything changing, like people are used to seeing things go this fast and maybe it's not so impressive, but I can tell you from like what just happened there, I've done it in the past of literally going field by field, setting up 5 tables. In each table, there's 10 to 20 fields, setting the field type, what should be the maximum characters, what should be the field name, and for it to happen like that, and there already be some logic, it's pretty incredible.
It's incredible. To be honest, I prefer for me to start from scratch
Yeah,
because it will influence me a lot when the AI proposes you the structure. And don't forget, the backend is your brain. It is
yeah.
something that you can change your front end every day if you want, but your data structure and everything, you don't change it every day. If so when I have a very quick MVP, POC, whatever, I use it. It's amazing, and especially in Xano because it's working really fine. But when it's go to make a very good project, a very serious project, I want to say I'm prefer to start from scratch. And it's what we will do now. Okay, I just wanted to show you how it's fast to do also with Xano. So I create, just not to lose time, I create like the project. We call it 9x Mini CRM. Okay, and the only database that Xano built for you is the user one. Okay, and the user one and the API for the authentication. So that's it. It's almost empty. You just have the user that you can delete or use or not using it. So
And
just to be a bit familiar, here you have the database. When you click on it, you see what inside, but nothing inside. Actually, it's empty. You have the API. So just to be clear, the API is some functionality that you will expose to the public in general, or not to the public, but to connect with other external tools in-out. And here it's where we will build our MCP server, tools, and agents. Okay. And here you have the library where you can, something happened here. Okay, here, or where you can create your function and many other things that I will not have time to dive. And the task we will do, one task is like for NNN, for example, because Xano also manage the task. And what is amazing that you can create your business logic and call it like regularly through a task. I will show you a bit later. Okay, that's fine. So I propose you to start it. I will start a little bit manually, and after we will only vibe code. Okay, why I show you a bit manually, just for you to start it to understand the interface, and what I do manually, I can do it also by coding. Okay, so let's start. Maybe because in a CRM you have a different role, okay? Sometime admin, sometime guests, okay? I just want here to create a new field, okay? We call it role, for example, and we create like a different kind of access, like it could be guest, it could be let's say a seller team. No, I let it team, and one could be admin. Okay, so you see it's very easy. Now in my database, like in Excel, or you can start it. So there is something amazing because AI start very early in Xano. You can generate some record here, okay? Because when you work, in general, you need some data to develop. So you can work with empty things. So you have the possibility to create some live database and test database. So you work on your test database, and when you're ready, you go with your live database. So you never make the risk to use the database, actually your data in your database. Okay, but I will stay on the same database, but just to say, so I will ask to Xano to generate some record. Let's say generate like 5 record for me, it's enough. And he proposed, like he's detecting that it's a name, so he proposed to create name, fake email, fake password, fake role. and he understood that he have three solutions automatically. So I go there, bam, I still have my data. Okay, so I can, if I want, I can start to work. If you're a bit familiar with the API, you can start to log in, and that's amazing. I will create for me an access, because we will have to text them to make some tests. So here,
And Fred, just while you're doing
Xano.
that, one question on the databases, one question on the APIs. So is there any data limitations for the databases built by Xano? I guess that in terms of like size
No,
and
that
rows.
No, that's very nice. Also, okay, you have different kind of plan if you go on the size, but it's not limited in size. It's not limited. Also, you can well, you have that's also something very important. That if you have a small project, you can stay on the first plan. But when if it become like you need to scale, you can duplicate your database. You can create some instance, synchronize through the instance through the database. So I want to say there is no limit.
Nice.
Honestly, there is no really limit. Okay, so here we use, for example, admin. Okay, so I show you you can create with generate record. You can enter directly in your backend the data. Okay, now I want to connect maybe. Let's connect, for example, Claude. Okay, it's time to go maybe on Claude. Okay, just forget this, because I just connected. How I connected my instance, and that's amazing. Okay, Claude, I don't know if you know Claude, is a little bit like ChatGPT. Okay, it's another kind of LLM. I like Claude very much, and I think Claude like me also now. But, because he start to know me, and you can connect, and that's amazing. You can connect external MCP server tools, and I just see that I don't see my Xano. Actually, I don't know why. Okay, I will close it and open again. Sorry. Okay, weird. Okay, do again. Sorry. I told you we will have bugs and real life stuff. So I connected my instance of Xano, and something that is amazing is that in Xano you have an MCP server that is exposed on the instance level. Okay, that means if you don't want to do what I show you, create your table, you can do everything by prompting. Okay, and to be honest, I don't know why we don't have the MCP. Okay, probably will come. Okay, doesn't matter. I will show you through VS Code. Maybe I want to ask you something in the chat, if you don't mind. It's how many people have ever used like Claude, Vibes Coding, Xano, just for me to align a little bit the level of or if I have, can you tell me very quickly on the chat? I will have a look.
We've got a few people saying they prefer Claude to ChatGPT. Some are saying only a little bit, some are saying I've never until now. So I guess you're converting some people. Claude mostly, some Superbase. A lot of people loving Lovable to vibe code. Yep. So I
Okay,
would say used Claude via GitHub Copilot, Visual Studio Code. I would say
perfect.
majority of the people answering have, and then maybe 30% that have never and are new to it, I would say.
Okay, perfect. Nice. Okay, and in between it's working. So it's perfect. Now, I just want to show you something that in the API, we have a sign up API that we will use. And just to show you that how it's amazing. So how Xano work, you have three ways to see the function that you will develop. Okay, for example, this is the sign up function. Every tools actually have a sign up function. So Xano, I've built it for you. You have three way to see it. It's depending your profile, and that's amazing. You can see it like a canvas where you see the logic. Okay, I take the input, my name, email, password. I get the record, a precondition that it doesn't exist. I add the record in the database. I create a notification token. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but for security reason, you need to have token, and you have a response. So if you are a developer or you understand the logic, you can see everything here. If you are a little bit more experimented, you can see also like this, like the function stack, where you have all the function and with the details. Okay, and that's amazing because this is the way we used to code with variable, with logic, whatever, but we don't have to code. We just have to fill the field. So with Xano, you can do everything just by filling field like that. And if you really you like to code, that you can also go on the Xano script. That is it's a script, and you will have the full code. Okay, that you can see here. You can use it if you like it, and also it's very useful, and you will see that because this Xano script could be. So if I modify something in Xano script, I will see the impact directly in the function stack and in the canvas. Okay, and here we can run the function. So for example, we will create, let's create, I don't know, a new user. Let's say like Al Pacino, the Godfather, at, I don't know, like Popola.com. And let the password, let's say 8999. Okay, and we run just to see. Okay, it say inputs doesn't mean the minimum length because we have a security also. Let's so like this. And that's it. We have a token. And if we're going in the database, we should have a new user. Okay, it's a new user. We didn't say that we want by default something, but maybe it's better because we can create a back office to change to put someone in admin. Okay, so you see, I enter it manually with my name. I test the API, so the API is ready to be deployed. And now we'll try with Claude to do also the content. So what's happened there? If you see, you see that I can connect my Xano, okay, to Claude, for example, and also VS Code. So from there, if you don't want to go in everything I show you, you can start to prompt and build your backend. And that's pretty amazing for people that are no experience. And if you look all the function, this is the function for that Xano propose to the MCP, to Claude, to use, to build. Okay, you don't have to know about it. Okay, mainly, I want to say there is one that it's a nice to know, that you have one for documentation, and it help the LLM, the Claude, to learn about how to build. So okay, let's stop to talk, and we will start maybe to fill the content a little bit. I say so I would like you to connect to my X9 Mini CRM instance. I know that that's the number 40 because it was right in Xano, and create some fake content in my user database. Create 5 users with famous actors name. Okay, maybe it could be enough. We will see what they say. And during this time, you see just the logic, and I show you a very simple example, okay? That is looking for the workspace. It's the first time, so he started to analyze. He get the table, he find the table, okay? We didn't say nothing to Claude. He connect to it, he find the table, he find the field in the table, and now he started to add some content. He add Leonardo DiCaprio, Meryl Streep, Denzel Washington, everybody will be there in Hollywood, okay?
It's appropriate. It's appropriate that Morgan Freeman is an admin. I think he's the type of person.
Yeah, maybe. Ah, yeah, you're right. Okay, you see, it could be also a security issue. Maybe in the prompt you should, or in the API said that you can create admin profile from an LLM. That's very good example. And okay, we can correct it easily. We'll not do it now. And if we go in our database, we can see it created. Okay, so you see that I created content from a prompt, and I almost didn't say anything. He find the table, he understood the field, and he filled the contents. Okay.
And Fred, was this so
I don't know if you're
because right now you have quite a simple database, you only have one table, so it found it straight away? Or is it like really like, let's say if you had 20 tables here, would it just take a little bit longer, or you're getting good
no,
results?
totally. I will do. We will do it. We will do it. It's a good question. It's a good question. Maybe we have just to modify a small thing because we want to modify probably the just this function because we create the role and this function was created before. Maybe we will have to get all the data from it. So just add the role. Okay. Like this. So that we can do it but just to explain that we will try now to create the front end. So I propose you something just because Lovable is, yeah, there is some legs. So I will try to build the front and the back in the meantime. To be honest, I don't do that in general. I very focus on the back end, my data and everything. And after, but because we want to challenge and do everything in an hour and a half, I will do in parallel. Okay. There is something absolutely amazing. If you are a programmer, you know what I'm talking for. It's Xano will create the documentation in live. Okay, that means if you click here, you still have all your documentation in a Swagger. For now, we have only 3 API endpoints, but you don't have to do that. And if you check the JSON, the OpenAI format, you will see all the if it works.
And Fred, this was a
Very
question we had
slow.
earlier.
Okay.
I guess this was a question we had earlier. I guess this is what you're showing now. Someone asked if Xano implements Open API, and is it possible to export it? Is this is Open API? Is it? This is like
Exactly. The right time question. Right time question. Exactly. So we can take the URL here, for example, and give to Lovable, and we will start to say to Lovable that we want. So I put it here, and I've just started to write a prompt just before we starting. Okay. In general, I like to take design from a website. I don't know, but I'm not very good in front. So in general, I'm going to kind of this website, for example, in Goodly, and just to be inspired. Um, okay, I don't know if there is any design you like. We can maybe take. Okay, my connection is a bit slow. I'm sorry. I don't know why. We can take any design. So something a bit shiny, whatever. Okay, and I will start it to write. Okay, take this one, for example. That's nice. So in general, I take this one. I do a screenshot because Lovable is working pretty fine. I take this also. Okay, I show you real life. Okay, and okay. I don't know what is so slow, but I took the link, so it could be okay. And I will write a prompt.
And Fred, while you're doing that, a
Okay, let's
question
take the like this one.
question from Ivan was, what is the tool to get the documentation from the API? From what I understood, that's all built into Xano, right? And it's using this Swagger
Exactly.
API is like a
Yeah, you
universal
when
standard.
everything the Swagger is included in Xano. When you build your API, it created automatically your all the documentation here, and you can have the Open API format here. Okay, so for example, I will take this one. I will do a screenshot. Okay, I go to Lovable. This is what I'm usually doing. And I will write my design my prompt. So I will say very easily create for me a mini CRM app with authentication using an external API. Okay. Okay, you can say you will find the documentation of my API at this URL. Okay. So it's almost enough for Lovable to understand. Okay, we'll just cut and paste. I started to create the prompt before. Sorry. Okay. So what I asked to Lovable, design requirement, follow the clean modern style from Godly. This is the one I guess I choose, or maybe almost the same. I explain the design I want. Here I need to take the right one, sorry.
And Fred, while you're doing well, because there was
Um,
some questions about understanding how Lovable compares to Xano. Is it the case that in Lovable there is also actually a database solution, but actually the tool is just best for creating front end? So that's why you combine the back end and logic power of Xano with the front end of Lovable, or how should people see the comparison or the differences between these two platforms?
Yeah, Lovable starts to add a backend, and also Lovable is a possibility to connect to Supabase. So there is still this logic to connect to a backend, but when it comes to choose the right backend, you have to say to Lovable if you are not naturally connected to the Lovable backend or to Supabase that you want to use external backend. Okay, and what I think it's for me. What is super interesting is to separate really the front and the back. I saw many projects like with Lovable and Supabase integrated, because there is something that for me it scares me a lot when you vibes code in Lovable. If you have the end on your data and your backend, it's very dangerous. You never know, and it's very hard also because you can always come back in Lovable, but it doesn't work on the backend. Okay, so I know many people that build solution with Lovable and Supabase, for example, and they lose a lot of data, especially when it's come to maintenance and new things. So I want to say the best practice for me is really to separate the front and the back, to
Mhm.
create API like we are doing now to make the connection between the front and the back, even if sometimes it's a little bit more work. As
Yeah.
soon as you understand, and it's not that complicated, as soon as you understand the process, it makes a kind of security wall, like like in between, and it pushes you also to be a little bit more sharp in the way you architecture your vibes coding solution.
Gotcha. Makes a ton of sense. And so if I understand it correctly, when you're vibe coding in Lovable, you're not giving it the permission to actually go and change anything in Xano or update any of the back end that you all do. You'll do that I guess in Claude later directly in Xano. But Lovable, what you're vibe coding there is purely the front end based off that API documentation.
Exactly.
Okay.
So now what I ask to Lovable, it is the first step. There is something I recommend also. Don't give too much to Lovable each time you write a prompt. Okay. For now, I ask only one thing to Lovable. It's to create a very simple apps with the mechanism of authentication and to follow a design that I pick and choose here. I don't know what Lovable will do. Okay, I do it quickly. In general, I take more time to write the prompt and I try to be a little bit more sharp. So what do we ask then? We give them all our backend API documentation. We talk about the designing like requirement. We give the base URL for the Swagger again. Okay, I give 2 times. Hopefully it's the same. And I explain my 3 endpoints, but to be honest, in general, I don't have to do that because you know very well to read the documentation. Okay, we start. Okay, and we'll continue on the side. We will let him work. Okay, I don't know if you know Lovable, but here you have the comment, like you can follow what he's actually doing, and here you will see the result. This is advertising. He said, "I will create beautiful mini CRM." Okay, now he's gone. Let them work. Okay, so let's back now a little bit to Xano. So I explain you the structure of the database that we want to work on it. Um, maybe we will start to create the company and the contact thing. Okay, let's imagine you still have started to build something with Airtable, or you started to build something with Supabase, for example, that is another backend. For example, I create also a company database, okay? But before that, because maybe the structure of the data will not be the same, it's very common that you start with, for example, with Airtable, with some data, and after when you start to build really your solution, you say, okay, I need more info about the company, whatever. So let's imagine we still have a little database actually, but it's not enough. So we want, because we're starting freshly with our Xano, we will start from fresh. And we will going. So we have something amazing also in Xano that you can build directly with a database assistant. Okay, and with a database assistant, like I show you in the beginning in the other project, we will create. So just not to lose too much time, I write a simple prompt. You are an experimented full stack developer with strong database architecture skills. In the context of a simple CRM project, please create for me the company database and the contact database linked to the company. Okay, we can say table maybe, and okay, the structure should be, you should follow a typical. So okay, let's go to see what's happened. Maybe we can see what's happened on the Gustav side, on the Lovable side. Okay, is working fine. Is working for us. Ah, you see, it's amazing. Everybody working for us now. And so Xano will propose a structure of database. Okay, it's okay for company, name, website, phone number. Okay, we go and we can give a name for the API group. Let's call it, for example, company. That's not very important. Okay, and okay, and it proposes to create the contact table also that we save in the same groups, and just to create some index. Okay. Okay, so we see now we have our database. It created for us. It's look pretty smart. Okay, website, phone number, whatever. And what is absolutely magic, that it creates for us also all the APIs. Okay,
Wow.
so you don't have to do that. You can still connect Claude, you can still connect Lovable, you can start to play with this. It's just amazing, everything there, the database, the API, the documentation for your new database, so you can start to share with your partner or with your tools or whatever. Okay, so now we will add maybe we can add some content in the database. Okay, so like we did there, we will use Claude. I have also created a prompt to make it quicker. I asked to Claude, please add sample data to my company table using, let's say, 20 real NASDAQ, for example, or if you want something else, list company as a reference. Fill in available field. So what is nice, we don't say to Claude what we have in our database field, where we want, phone number, whatever. Nothing. Claude will go by itself in the database schema, understand by the name, because we do it with the AI, so he did the documentation. So, and I asked him, can you create 35, let's say, 20, no, let's say 40 contacts distribute across this company table. Use name inspire also by famous musician for the contact and include realistic details such as job, title, email, etc. Okay, let's see.
Fred, while that one's going off, because I'm not sure, like, I guess some people eventually you might end up with having multiple MCPs connected to Claude. Is it typically best practice to like disable, or like imagine if someone had an MCP connecting to Notion, to Airtable, to different things? Is it better to just you often work with only the MCP enabled with the service you
Yeah,
currently work with, or is it typically smart enough to understand which databases and which systems it should go look into?
absolutely. Okay, I can recommend to use the minimum MCP connection, and I'm a bit afraid because in the future, because everybody go to MCP, probably in the future we will be big temptations to connect a lot of MCP. If you see myself, I have some MCP, but I disconnect it when I'm working on a project. Okay.
Yeah.
For example, now I will using just the Supabase because I will show you how you can also import some data from Supabase and my instance, and we will create our own tools. So I will activate it later. But yes, the best practice, don't use too much. But also, what is nice in I recommend in the beginning of your chat or in your project environment, maybe to give some instruction. I will show you. I will let him finish. Okay, you see what is nice? He get to webs. He get to the web. He been to the web. He find 20 Nasdaq company on the web. He understood all my table, my database. He match the info. Okay. Same with contact. Freddie Mercury, John Lennon, Bob Marley. So he creates. So now let's see. Let's go back to Xano to see in the table. Okay. Company. Okay. He create the Nasdaq company. Directly he find the phone number. I don't know if it's the real one, but maybe it is, the address. He find everything on the internet. Just a simple prompt. He understood the database. And why it's doing that? It's because Xano, behind the scene, as I show you a little bit before, I create this MCP server in the instance level that it make Claude accessing to all of your database and function and whatever. Okay, so there is a communications between Xano and between Claude that they can understand each other and they can do the jobs. So I want to show you just one thing to answer the questions before. For example, you see I created an instruction and like it's a best practice when you start chat with Claude, for example, just to say, okay, use my MCP, use my project, and I explain you a little bit that I want to create a mini CRM. So it will avoid the confusion sometime when few MCP, you can have conflict between few MCP, so you drive a little bit So what I'm doing in general, I'm create a project like this one, okay, and I write the instructions. So every chat in this project, in general, is more like sharp. That's clear. Tell me if I'm going too fast.
No. It's super clear, and I think everyone's super inspired in the chat. Really good question from Luda. I don't know if it's something that you're planning to show next, but just to bring it up. So what we've seen here is you're using Claude to add data to the tables. Can we also use Claude to actually build or modify the database tables in Xano?
Absolutely. I will show off a little bit before after. I use it to create, and I want to show you even okay. I will answer that even more complicated. I will show you something. For example, I continue with the example. So I add my table in Supabase. Let's try something because my Claude is connected also to my Supabase through the MCP. Okay, you see, like I show you on Xano, there is less, but in Supabase you have also the possibility to access. I will write. I will ask Claude to import the data. Okay, so import all the data from the company table in my Supabase project into the company table in the Xano. But as I said before, this is not exactly the same table. If you remember, we don't have exactly the same field and specifically the same name. It's logic because it was created by two different. Okay, I created manually in Supabase, and the other one was created by the AI. So this is a common issues that you have two tables, and you have in general you have to map the fields, and it's always a bit complicated. But now we want to use the AI for that. Okay, I give some rules. If a field doesn't exist in the destination Xano table, create it. So it's answered the question a little bit. So it will create the field if it doesn't exist. If the field's name differently, use the Xano field name as a priority. If the field name doesn't clearly match and you are unsure, ask me for clarification. And if there is an ID conflict, because for sure they will have ID conflict, generate a new unique ID for the record. Okay, let's see what it's doing.
And Fred, just one thing I want to point out here, especially what you've got there in point two, if the field names differ, use the Xano field name as a priority. This to me really highlights one of the strengths of LLM models that we couldn't do previously in pure automation logic. This whole idea of like fuzzy searches. Whereas previously, you'd have like even if you did this in a code, it'd be like looking up and seeing it does this name exactly exist or does it contain or things like that. Whereas here, if you had, for instance, like companies and in the other one businesses, it would infer that they are the same object, right? Or the same meaning, which
Totally.
opens up so much more possibilities.
Look at that. I mean, it did everything for you. It connects through the MCP of Superbase. You get the fields, you get the contents, missing field in Xano that exist in Superbase. So annual revenue, number of employees, typically we didn't create it in Xano. So okay, for security reason, he asked us to one time the right to access the database, and you see that is creating the contents.
That's awesome. Well, just a couple of
Okay.
questions in the chat, Fred. So maybe I can clarify because people now a bit maybe confused about do we need to use both Xano and Superbase? What you're showing here is to demonstrate migrating from legacy tools, right? Like so, the scenario was imagine you already had
Exactly.
an app in Superbase, you already had some data somewhere showing how you can pull that information in, because typically what happens is when you're running a business, you're not maybe starting from scratch. Typically, what often happens is you have some data lying around in like Google Sheets or things like that. Is like when I want to start a business, how do I first manage my contacts? I have a Google Sheet. Then maybe I'm moving up to Airtable. Then eventually it moves up to something like a Superbase. And all we
Exactly.
try and show here is how we can not start from scratch again, but pull in some of that existing data and let AI, because also these system migrations are an absolute pain. And if AI can help us with this, it's a really, really good use case.
Amazing. Yeah, sure. You're totally right. And I demonstrate that you can create content, you can import content in a simple prompt. This is very common that I saw more and more people that starting to build, like, for example, with Lovable and a very small database. They use Excel, they use Airtable, they use Superbase. And very quickly, they are stuck because this is now they want to scale the project. So this is a way to reverse engineering a little bit. You started to build on something and you want to move to a shared stack like Xano, for example. And sometimes you can use like typically like Claude. You connect to both of them and you ask Claude to make the business for you. Okay. I see that is it's still 6, so maybe I will try to accelerate a little bit. I wanted to show you something else, but you have to believe me by heart. But you can do exactly the same. Okay, there is a like if you have some edge function in Superbase. I don't know if you know, but in Superbase you have to code. You have no other choice than coding. Okay, there is no visual programming really a layer. You can also, like I did with the data, you can also ask to Claude, please, can you understand the logic that is in TypeScript? Can you understand the logic in this function in Superbase and import it in Xano? And it will be much easier to understand in Xano because in Xano you have I show you have the visual way to see the everything. Okay, so I will not demonstrate now, but you can believe me. Let's see if Lovable did something. Okay, we did something.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
you see we started you started to build and it was good. It took the design that we chose. You understood, you know. I just sent the URL and a screenshot, and he understood Lovable exactly almost the same design. Okay, almost the same design. Let's see if it's work. So I still forgot. I still forgot. Okay, let me I use mine. Okay, let's do a sign up. More sign up. Okay, we do that. Uh, okay, email. We do. Okay, and password. You see, it's amazing. It's still working. I don't know if you realize that you have now an authentications front end that almost ready to go. And if we go on our database, let's see if it's work. User, bam, it's here.
Awesome.
Okay. So
And Fred,
we code like. Hmm?
Like not that you
Yeah.
need to build it now, but just for me to understand, because often sometimes when you sign up, you want to have like a two-factor authentication that actually the
Yeah,
person
you
like
can
confirms
also. Yeah, for
in the
sure, for sure.
email. Just like not for you to build it, but just for people to understand like how you'd go about doing that. You'd need to tell first you'd update Xano to have that functionality and then tell Lovable. Is that
Exactly, exactly.
right?
It's always the same logic. You create your data. For example, you need an email or what a token, whatever. You create the function accessing the data, and you expose it to what is really nice now. Okay, I use if I had time, I show you, but I use Lovable to create this. But if I want, I'm going to Claude or to Bolt or to any other tools, and I give the same API, and it will do the front ends for me also. So this is the benefit to separate the front end and the back end. Is that for example, tomorrow you want to go mobile, you can use Flutterflow or you can use tools like that, and you just have to do the same prompt, almost the same prompt, and you will have the mobile app.
That's
And
awesome.
that the magic to separate the logic, the data, and the front ends. Okay, so let's do something so we can work on something else. Maybe we'll ask to Lovable. Okay, we just created, like you understand now, we just created company and contact table that you can find the documentation here. So now you understand like me that you have just to give the sorry, the company here, Swagger. So when again, you give your API that you created in your backend, okay, to Lovable, okay, and we can say, please create it for me a dashboard where I can create, delete, edit any information in the company and in the contact database. Make it nice with the same design, and we will try something, but I want it only accessible for admin roles user that you can't. Okay, I will not tell him just to see if if he can find it. Okay, okay, go. We will add
And
lovable. So
Fred, just
now
because
it's
that all
supposing.
happened, just that because that all happened quite quick when you added the new tables from Superbase, pull in that extra data. Did you publish anything so that the Swagger API is updated, or that all happens automatically? Do you need to like publish and say, hey, this is now the new API documentation, or whenever it's creating it, it's all
Oh,
just compiling it automatically?
that's a good question. You have to you can ask to the AI to update your function, and it depends. If you have the CRUD, like the basic like we have here, yeah, well, you can make it automatic, like with Xano, just to say, okay, create me the code for it, and it will do it in a minute. That's amazing. But if you develop other function, like your own function, you will have to edit it because you add some. This is why this is a good question, and also this is why it's important to think well about your data from the beginning, not to add some field every day, because you have
Yeah.
to that it will have an impact in your API or your function in general. Okay, so there is everything about CRUD. That means accessing the basic of your data. It's automatic in Xano. You just have to republish, and your own function is your own function. Okay, that's it. Okay, now it's working. Okay, let's try to continue because the time is really running now. Okay, now I will create it. Okay, I will answer the question of I forgot the name. Sorry, but we will create it also the deal and activity table. Okay, like let's do that. Let's do that in Claude, okay? So we will do something like this. Create two new table in my Xano database named deals and activities. This table must connect it to my existing company, okay? Contact and user table. The deal table should store sales or consulting opportunities. So we build the CRM. The activity table should log all interaction, use relational links where needed, and standard timestamp field for creating an update. Okay, just a basic. So let's see if it's doing that. So everything I show you here, you can do the same here in Xano. Okay, because in Xano you have also the capabilities to create your table and your data. So I show Claude. I wanted to show in Xano, but I show with Claude because it was the question. So you see now it was created like we did with the Xano AI. We're doing the same actually with Claude. Okay. Yeah, we're supposed to finish at 6:30, right?
6:30, yeah. But often with these, if it goes a little bit over, we go till you're happy, Fred.
Okay, let me show you a few other things very quickly when we make the AI working for us. Okay, Lovables just finished the jobs. So let's see what's Lovable working fine. We didn't create it yet. No, I don't think it. Full admin dashboard. Because you are not admin. Okay, so I will put you as an admin.
We need to log in as Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, for sure. User. Yeah, I put you as an admin.
Nice.
It's a good occasion to see if it's work. Let's try again. It was jan@usa.com, right?
Yeah. Do you remember the password?
I think it was this. No, maybe not. Yeah.
Perfect.
No, it doesn't look working. So when you have this kind of this case, okay, you can you say it's common. Okay, it's very common. So you say to Lovable, it doesn't work. Maybe it's because you didn't detect the role correctly. Can you check? And if it doesn't work, we will make it with no roles because we don't have time to debug. But Lovable is pretty good in debugging also. Okay, I want to show you also that you can easily, so it check, let's see Claude, what is did. Okay, Claude created the table, relationship, timestamp, activities, and okay, it looks working. So we're going to see on our table. So it doesn't.
And while that's loading, Fred, we had one question, which I guess I'm really interested to get your take on it because it's something that you're also very passionate and have a high importance towards. So the question was, is it actually really secure to allow Claude to manage our secure data in the backend in Xano? How do you feel about that?
Okay, you have when you configure your MCP, for sure you have to create a token. Okay, and this token should be stored in a secure place. And this is not something, it's not open. Okay, I didn't show you, but if you go on the configuration of Claude, you have to give a token that you will have. So that's secure if you secure your token, I want to say. Okay. But once again, for me, this is not something that you need to have a real politic for sharing your token, a real politic to who can access to what. I think basically it's a very good question. Hopefully with Xano, you can also, if you create your own tools, you can secure each call to any API. Okay, I didn't have time now in 1 hour to show you everything about security when it comes, but it's a really good question, honestly, because it's also something that you can create easily a hole in your security. This is also why I think it's good to have separate backends because you have more control about the communication between all of it. Okay, so we will see this. So you see that it created activities and deal. Okay, so it's answering, and what it's nice, it created all the fields. Okay, so maybe we can ask to Claude now to fill also, because when it works, we can say to Claude, maybe this prompt, like here, create sample entries for my deal and activities table, generate, let's say, 20 deals and 5, 6 activity by deals. Okay, in context and freelance. Okay, go. So for now, we don't have any data. You see the activity is empty. So we ask Claude to fill the field. I would like maybe to show you something also interesting. Let's imagine, okay, in our CRM, now we have the company, we have the contact, the user, we can manage the pipeline of a commercial pipeline. We started to do the front ends. And now we want to try to find some deal on internet. Okay, I don't know if you know Apify. Apify is an amazing marketplace where you can find a million, no, yeah, not million, but like thousands of actors. They call it actors, and there are you, and you can use it. It's pay per use, okay, and you have web scraper of everything, okay. So, for example, I had in mind to show you one actors. For example, we can imagine like we scrapping the job scrapper on LinkedIn, because on LinkedIn you can have also an option to find the job as consulting jobs, like contract jobs, not like full-time or part-time. So maybe if we want to make some business, we can say, okay, I'm going to LinkedIn, trying to find all the jobs in contract. I will go to Upwork in the other side to find some consultants. I don't know if you know Upwork, but it's a platform where you have some consultants. With the LLM, I will try to match if they can match, and I can call both of them and say, okay, I have jobs for you and I have consultant for you, and take my money in between. Maybe also make it totally automatic. Okay, so it's just an idea. So this is a scrapping a service, and that's super easy, because I can show you I run it 2 times today, like recently. And so for example, this one, I asked that the 10 last jobs published on LinkedIn in USA as a contract, and you see it's here. Okay, so okay, now let's say that we want to make it automatic in Xano. Okay, so we do it something pretty easy. I want to try to show you something also with VS Code. Okay, I don't know if someone of you are familiar with VS Code, but we created an amazing extension, that's Xano here, the Xano extension, that you can prompt everything in VS Code. Okay, it's a little bit more hard to understand the interface compared to Claude, but it's the same. You prompt here, and you ask to VS Code, and you have all your file. Everything in Xano is here, and you can see if you want even the code. So now I'm talking more for the people that they like to code. They have now the option to see the code of their function or whatever. Okay, so I want to ask to VS Code. First of all, I will synchronize my sorry, I need to go there. Oops, I want to synchronize. Sorry, I need to start again. And I will create a simple function. Okay, in also we can create it here if we want, because in Xano you have also an AI to create a function. So at the end of the day, you have so many ways to create function, data, structure, table, task. You can do it in Claude. You can do it in VS Code. Okay, there is an issue with VS Code. I don't know why. But we can do it without if it doesn't work.
So this was one question that someone had, Fred, is what is the advantage of, like, can you prompt the same way in Xano that you're prompting in Claude to create all the fields, edit the database, pull in data. What's the advantage of using Claude compared to using it doing the AI assistant directly in Xano?
Okay, that's a good question. You don't prompt the same because it's not exactly the same. Okay. Sorry, I have an issue with VS Code. Okay. You don't prompt the same, and I not recommend to use too many tools also. Because you have to learn also how to use it. You know, all these LLM are not behaved the same, and also it will depend. For example, for me, I like to use GPT 4.1. I think it's a good model for what we need, actually. I think it's even better than the in Claude we use. You can use Sonnet, or it depends. So you have to learn a little bit about the model that you see are more better for you, I want to say. So, and after it, the tools also. It depends how you feel the tools. So here what I do, I just synchronize my VS Code with my Xano instance. And from there, I can start. So let's try. I write the code. I say, please create a new function in Xano workspace to connect to the Apify actor. Okay, here I connect to my workspace. Okay, just to say, sorry, something is not working maybe. Okay, so I ask him to create. We'll see if it works. So what I ask here exactly, I said, please connect to my endpoint. To the endpoint on the Apify actor. I gave the name of the actor I want to connect to. This one, okay, job scrapper. And we'll see, but it's supposed, okay, conserver, sorry. So you see, it created for us a function that is scripting, but you don't have to understand. We publish it in our workspace. Yes. So now if we are going back to Xano, okay, it's look a bit complicated like this, but when you understand the process, it's really basic. And now I'm going to see the function. Oh, you see, it created a function, scrap LinkedIn jobs. Okay, let's see. You can see visually that's amazing because in the Xano canvas, it even took the logo of Apify. Okay, it's look not that bad. Let's run it. So I don't know if you remember, but in my here I asked to by default put C United States jobs. Okay, I'm going back here. Let's say I want the 5 last.
I see something
Run. Is it working or not?
that it says add record in deleted table. Was that something that may be under the for each loop?
Sorry.
In the for each loop there, I see that it says deleted table. Is that maybe look referencing some old?
Yeah, there is an issue here. You're right. There is an issue, and I want to try to ask to Claude in the meantime, just to show you that you can use, we will debug it if we have time. Sorry, he was waiting for me here. Because the time running, I don't want to spend too much to debug. For each loop, yeah, there is a, because it didn't took the right table. Okay, doesn't matter, I will correct it after. I will try to go here. And we can also ask to, I want just to show you something about security. When it comes to use an external applications, for sure, you have to use the token, okay? So in Xano, you can manage your token in the settings. So just to say to you previously, before we start, I save it here. So it's very secure, not like everybody can use your API key. Okay, yeah. Because you see, I have a budget. I put a budget on in the service, and and so for security, you always have this technique of, in general, of token and API key to make it work. Okay, so if we have a problem, we can try to correct it like in Xano, but also we can ask to Claude. We can say sorry to VS Code and say it look like something not working. Can you debug the function? Can you debug the functions because it look like accessing the wrong opportunity? I know why. Sorry, I know why it doesn't work. We forgot a step. We didn't create the opportunity database table. You know, I tried to go fast and I forgot for storing the database. Okay, so what we can do, for example, we can export the easiest part. We can export like in CSV. Okay, download. So because it's a previous scrap. Okay, so we will use it. It's the best way to create. And here we can say add a table, import data, CSV. So you see another way to import your data. If it works. Okay, data set. Okay, that's work. Upload. Okay, nice. We just rename it. We rename it opportunities. That's right. So as you can see, all the opportunities scrap on the LinkedIn jobs through this API are imported. And now I should go back to VS Code and say, sorry, I had a opportunities table. Can you correct it? And that is also amazing because now you are asking VS Code to debug, okay, their own codes, but the bug was because of us, because we didn't create the table. So it looked like, you see, it looked like he find the bug, he correct the bug. Okay, let's try. We publish it. We go back here. We take the function. And try it. Ah, you see, he corrected perfectly. Nice. So VS Code, find the bug, get in Xano, find the table. Probably he made some, maybe some change also in the code for the fields because he didn't knew about the fields before. Let's see.
And Fred, while that one's running, because I know like we're already on time, so if people do need to jump, this was one question that came up a lot, so I just want to make sure we get it while the majority of the people are still here. In terms of cost and pricing of everything that you've just shown, some people are asking about like the costs involved in vibe coding in general and what like small companies should think about this long term. More specifically to what you've shown in terms of in Xano having the Swagger API, having access to all of these AI features. Is this on any tier or is there a specific tier you need to be on? And also what your Claude plan is. If you can just give us a breakdown of cost.
Okay, good question. Hopefully, most of for me, I use the Pro plan in Claude that is $20 per month. That's not that much, but you know, you're limited in 44,000 tokens by every 5 hours. Yeah. So it's almost 30 to 40. I try to give answer very practical, okay? So it's almost 30 to 40 prompt. So that not that much in 5 hours. I don't know, but myself, I prompt a lot when I'm coding. So maybe you need the next plan that is $100 a month, but for a serious project, it's not that much. No. But with actually with the Claude plan, about Lovable the same. I'm using the first tier that I think it's $25 something. And I have a discount, like I pay half of it, but I think for most of the people, it's this. And Xano, you're the same. You can use the first plan. Maybe Jan, you can share discount code something if
Yes.
you are, and you can try for a month for free. And so at the end, maybe I spend maybe $150. All my tools. I use also Resend for everything about sending emails, and that's it. No more. So for a small project, and the setup is very serious setup for me, and you can start to build real applications. And okay, I wanted to show you so much things, but the time running. But I wanted to show you how you can create MCP and whatever. But maybe I can tell you by like this very quickly. So what we saw in Xano, that we have different way to see the logic. You can see in a canvas, you can see in a function stack or in code. Okay, there is something that I would like to say. This is my vision. Maybe you will not share with me this vision, but it's look like the SaaS model is moving, and is moving a little bit to the chat GPT styles apps marketplace. I don't know if you saw it, but now in chat GPT like, because the other ones will do the same, you can connect some services. And for example, if you want to hear some Spotify music, you will not have to launch your Spotify app. Or if you want to go in Airbnb or in booking.com, you don't have to go in the website of booking.com. You can do it from. So this is a tendency that is moving. And actually, myself, for example, I'm working actually for a company in the secure field for the support of the customers. We probably will even not creating a dashboard, but we will create a connector for like ChatGPT, and the customer can chat with your services directly in ChatGPT. So what you need for this, you need to create an MCP a server that you can, okay, lucky with Xano, you can do all of that. I have no time to show you, but you can create your own MCP server and create your tools. That mean the communications between the clients like ChatGPT, and create an app like this. And I think the new tendency today is not only to create a SaaS like we started to do in with Lovable, for example, but to create an app for this LLM and expose it that you can bring some services in it. This is my LinkedIn. If whatever you want to continue to talk or whatever, you feel free for sure. I will be
Yeah, I
happy
think
to answer your question. Hmm?
absolutely, because there are a bunch of questions that I couldn't get to with the time. So I would recommend if
I
anyone
can
still has,
stay if you. I
yeah,
can stay online for a little bit more if you want, or you can contact me also directly, whatever you
yeah,
want.
I think because the rest we'll probably need to wrap it up, and the rest are like are a bit niche. So if your question still hasn't been answered, I would say best place is connect with Fred on LinkedIn. As you can probably tell, he's very very passionate about this, and will be more than happy to answer these questions.
For sure.
Yeah, and so people asking with the LinkedIn is just scan the QR code, right? And they should be able to connect to your LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay. Also, I can you can paste it in the chat.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can do it.
That's
I can do it. I'm on the chat here. Yeah, I would love to have time to show you also use cases that in the real life I build or I help company to build. It's become serious. And also I want to say something. You don't have to be 100% full no code also, or full vibes code. Okay, it's a law to say, okay, I will create these things with no code, but the legacy I can keep it. I show you how you can bring also the legacy in the no code. That is really, for example, in I did some features like Python to Xano or PHP to Xano. It's amazing. It's working. So if you come in a project, you have some legacy and you want to import it to make it more visual. Or for example, with Lovable also, you can take a full website and say, I want a copycat of this website rebuild me exactly the same. And there is many things that with the legacy you can also import in your new stacks, and it's working fine.
Amazing. And Fred, I'm not sure if you're seeing it in the chat, but a lot of thank yous. Everyone was really, really impressed with this session. So I guess we'll have to do another one sometime. I'm glad we made this one 90 minutes. Originally we were discussing 60
Yeah,
minutes.
you're right. I realized that we need twice more, and it's happened to me to organize some no-code days. And even one day, I tell you, it's not enough because it's so impressive. But even in 1 hour, we create the database, we create some API, we create the front end, we connect to Scrap LinkedIn because I didn't have the time to show you, but you see, we started to scrap LinkedIn jobs. It's here because in the beginning we import only 10, so the 5 next one are here. So it's also working.
Amazing. Super, super cool. I guess there's going to be some tokens used tonight with how inspired everyone is, and it's going to dive in and start testing this stuff out. Fred, thank you so much. Yeah, everyone, you have Fred's LinkedIn, and yeah, wish everyone a good rest of the day, a good evening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, thank you very much.